Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I am building the house from It. If you're interested in this build, you can download it off of the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. This build is in a collaboration, a really big one, with Mac's Playground. She organized this, and basically it's a big Halloween collab, and there will be 2 to 3 videos a day from the 15th to the 31st. 31st. And I'm kind of kicking it off on the 15th. I'm guessing with a couple of other videos, but people are going to be doing creative sims. They'll also be doing builds and then some machinimas. So there will be links to the playlist down below. I really highly suggest that you guys go check it out if you're interested in seeing more spooky things. But before we continue any further, I need to do a really big disclaimer. I have never seen the movie It. The new one, or I guess it was a TV series for the old one, so I'm kind of going in blind. The interior of this is completely just like, I guess, more inspired than a recreation, but the exterior I did base off of some pictures. I think it looks pretty close. I tried my best. This build also uses CC, which is like, I think I've only ever done this once before, and it was CC that I made. And so the CC I used is by Peacemaker, and it's the boards for the windows. I thought that this build really needed that to give it that rundown look. But yeah, so we're here. I hear those are the boards that I'm using. I really like the look of the house from It, and I just decided to go for it even though I'd never seen it, so I apologize if it's not good. It also has this octagonal little turret and roofing, and I could have waited till November, but when we get the new actual octagonal roofing, but I was like, whatever. I've built stuff without octagonal roofing before. Once we get it, you can change it. I don't know. Can we just have it now? I just really want that roofing. But yeah, so what am I going to talk about if I'm not talking about It? Well, luckily for you guys, I came up with a whole list of things horror-related things. Because we all know that I don't actually talk about the build, so I need to come up with something. And if I haven't seen the movie, then what the heck am I going to talk about? But yeah, I don't really like horror movies, like at all. I haven't seen very many of them. I've seen The Birds, or is it just called Birds? I think it's The Birds. Oh gosh. So I've seen that. I've seen, I think, Paranormal Activity scared the poop out of me. I've seen both of the Carrie movies, and I have a fun story about that coming up soon, so stay tuned. And then I think I've seen some of the Saw movies back in high school. And I've seen, like, I think the, like, scary movies, you know, like the comic ones that aren't actually scary. So I've seen those. Oh, and I've seen I'm sorry, this is fascinating. I'm sure I'm just listing everything I've seen. But it's so, like, few things. But I have seen Final Destination, which I guess is more of a thriller. I don't know. Anyways, but I haven't seen It, the movie. This is also, I guess, it's the clown one, in case you haven't seen it either. You know, the one with the scary clown that's, like, out now. The clown's name is Pennywise, which I take personal offense to because my name is Penelope, and yeah, don't give us pennies bad names. I actually don't go by Penny very much anymore, but everyone I knew as a kid calls me that, including my parents. But I've also seen the movie Goosebumps, which is a surprisingly good movie. I highly recommend that to people who don't really like horror movies that much. It's really fun. It's not that scary. I mean, it's made for kids, but I had a lot of fun with it. Anyways, let's go back to something a little bit more interesting. So, the Carrie movie. So when I first started dating my boyfriend, like almost 4 years ago, oh my gosh, the Carrie movie, the like recreation, has just coming out for October, and I had never seen the original, and I kind of wanted to see it, you know, because it's like a really iconic one. And so my boyfriend really likes horror movies, and I was like, okay, let's watch it together. And so he somehow got the impression that I liked horror movies, which I do not. I just was curious. I don't like being scared. And so at the very end, spoiler alert, at the very end there's a scene like where her hand sticks up out of the grave, and it's really iconic, and he thought, I guess I had seen it before, but you know, we're like cuddling up, you know, we're awkward, new, like not even a couple yet, I don't think. We're like cuddling on the couch, and right at the moment when the hand comes out, he like grabbed me like with his hand to scare me. Oh boy, it did scare me. And like honestly, in that moment, he told me that he saw our relationship like flash, burn, and die before his eyes. Like he was like, this is the end, I have messed up. He didn't. I did not take it well though. I was really like, but here, this build, I could have used like actual shutters here, but they were so bright. Like all of the windows in this were really bright, which really limited my window choices in the build. So there were a couple windows I feel like would have matched a bit better, but like, you know, like I said, it was all just so bright, and this house is supposed to be really run down, so there's not like any like fresh white paint anywhere. Gosh, The Sims is so bright. I mean, I'm building this in, oh gosh, I forget what it's called. It's the vampire world. Gosh, I hate it when I forget things. But yeah, it's the vampire world, so the lighting is like gloomier a bit. But honestly, this is still pretty bright. Like, so I could have used, I mean, this doesn't change the lighting, but I could have used the fall mod, like the autumn mod, to make the trees really pretty, but too much work. I'm not that into CC. But here, and I speed this part up a little bit more, so apologies if it's a little choppy, but it's kind of repetitive. But basically, I wanted this sort of flat top roofing, and so I used tables to fill in the spaces, and I like how it turned out. Like, it's not like the best looking, but I don't know. The house that they use in the movie is not a real house. It's a prop house, I guess, and so it doesn't even have a back to it. So again, with the back of the house, like I kind of just like went with whatever, but it kind of like the house, if you look at the pictures, the house just like gets chopped off on one end, so I'm guessing the roofing also isn't real, so that's what I decided to go with. But yeah, so that's my Carrie story. Oh my gosh, he really thought that was the end. He's lucky I wasn't too upset about that, but I don't do horror movies, but I don't really do horrors in general, but I have another fun, I'm full of fun stories today. I came prepared, guys. I wanted to entertain. But so once, I think when I was about 10, I went to I guess like a haunted house with my dad and my older brother. And so we go in, and of course, you know, I'm the little sister, I'm the daughter, I'm kind of like scared. And so they were like, okay, you know, you can go in the back, Penny. You can go in the back. This one they call me Penny too. And so, you know, I'm standing, I'm the third in the row. And of course, the scary, like, haunted house actor jumps out from the back, which terrifies me. So they're like, okay, obviously, you know, the back isn't safe. You can go first. So then, of course, that's where they jump out from next, is going first. And so finally, you know, like, I get scared again, and I'm like, I am not having it. I'm like really upset at this point. I'm like, I am scared, like nowhere is safe, you know, and so they put me in between them. I'm in a little like dad and brother sandwich. I'm super safe. And then, you guys, the wall fell away and he jumped out from the middle. And he caught me again. It was like the worst thing ever. I was so scared. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. They managed to get me every single time. It was awful. Maybe that's why I don't like horror movies, but Oh my gosh. Ugh. I'm laughing now, but I was not pleased. I was not pleased at all. I was so upset. Whew. But yeah, I guess I shouldn't run through these too quickly, but oh, apparently, so there is a scene in the movie where it kind of shows the back porch. I guess the clown thing is standing behind it, and it's kind of, you can't really see it really well, and like my boyfriend told me that after I built the house, because he's seen the movie, of course. He didn't think it was that scary, but honestly, that's not a really good measure of a scary movie, because he's very not easily scared. But yeah, and so he was like, oh yeah, there's totally a scene where you can see the back porch, and I'm just like, of course, after I built it, but he showed me a picture of it, and I actually got it pretty close just without trying. Oh, I forgot to mention, I started off the build doing the sort of ground, just because I thought that would be a little bit easier, because I knew that I kind of wanted the grass to look dead and patchy around the house, but if you do that right up against the border, it looks real weird. So I decided to do that first so I could give it a really good faded look at the edges, make it look a little bit more natural. Plus it makes it look like it's radiating from the house, which I think is pretty cool. So, and then I, kind of tried to distress it more. So in case you're wondering what I was doing there, that's what I was doing. And then I moved the house later on, so it's a bit more center. But yeah. So, next story. It's another haunted house one. So, when I was in 11th grade, we had an exchange student. I feel so bad for her now. Like, looking back on this, I feel really bad for her, because I knew that she didn't really do horror stuff really well, but I kind of, was like, oh, this will be fun, it's a good, like, little American experience, I guess, So we took her to this haunted house, and the poor thing, I feel really bad now, but she, we're standing in the line, and she's already panicking, and she's, gripping onto me, she sandwiched herself between me and my friend, and she's, clinging onto our arms, and at certain points when we finally, walked through it, she sat down. She was just not having it. So she would just sit and she would drag me and my friend down with her, because she would do it so unexpectedly. She would just be down, and me and my friend would then have to kind of drag her back up, and oh gosh, finally by the end of it, at the very end, they had somebody with the chainsaw without the chain on it, obviously, because that would just be ridiculously dangerous, kind of chase you out the back, and she just bolted. She was off. She was gone. I was really concerned that she just left. I felt really bad. I'm laughing about it now, and I really shouldn't, and I do really feel bad, but oh my gosh. The things I subjected that girl to, not the best. To be fair, I also was an exchange student, so I don't think I did anything too awful, because I was an exchange student before we had her, so I kind of had I think maybe a better idea of what is and is not okay to subject your exchange student to. Who knows though. But yeah, I went to Hungary, in case you didn't know. I speak very, very bad Hungarian. Egy kicsit beszélek magyarul, de nem nagyon jól. That's so bad. If any of my viewers speak Hungarian, feel free to tell me how bad that just was. Oh my gosh. But here, I can actually talk about the build. So spoiler, I guess. It's kind of everywhere, but in the movie there's this weird dance scene where they've focused the frame on the clown's head, and so it gives the camera a weird shaky effect, and for me it's just funny. Also, if you haven't seen it, people have been pairing other music to that. My favorite would have to be Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. And I think it's really funny. My boyfriend also didn't think it was scary when he watched it. But yeah, so I tried to recreate this. Apparently this is actually in the sewers and not in the basement like I thought it was, because apparently the house leads to the sewers, I guess. I don't know. But I tried to recreate this sort of fire theater flame stage, and I did a really bad job. But I tried, guys. I think I could have maybe dressed up a mannequin as a clown, but I don't think it would have had the makeup And the makeup is like what makes it. Like, but yeah, so I just have like a painting of the I'm not really good at this whole horror thing, guys. And also I really like how I use the void critter as fire. I honestly, I can't with how bad this looks. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I amused myself, apparently. But I did actually cut out most of the, well, I pretty much all of the interior of this house. Like, I made the kitchen, and apparently that was relatively close. I mean, I just kind of went with a spooky sort of deserted vibe. I didn't put a huge amount of effort into it. I wanted to keep this build relatively short, especially because, like, what am I gonna, I have nothing to talk about. Like, I've been racking my brain like for the, like, ever since, because I mentioned on Twitter I wanted to build this, and that was like a month ago, and so ever since then I've been like, oh gosh, what am I gonna talk about? And so yeah. That was it. That was me talking about, let's see, let's just recap it. What are all my, well, first I listed the horror movies, yep. Then I talked about a haunted house, 2 different haunted houses, and then I talked about the Carrie story, and that's like the extent. But we are actually pretty close to wrapping up, so if you enjoyed this build, please feel free to give me a like, a comment, or subscribe. It really motivates me and encourages me. I hope you guys really like this build, despite me never having seen the movie. I hope you liked my ramblings. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having a really great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!